All right. Hello, YouTube. I'm Dave. This is Dave Explains. Please remember to like and subscribe today. Watch as much of the video as you can because it really does help me out the more you read it. Or watch the video. If you come in and you're like, this isn't for me, and you leave, well, you know what? I'm not going to force you, but I will ask, give it a shot for a little bit. I think some people are coming in for like 14 seconds and they're like, this isn't for me. It is true. If you're looking for one of those gurus that tell you, hey, you can make it. It's really easy to do. Just listen to me. And then they do no code whatsoever. You're right. This is not the place for you because I am not going to do that. I will show you some stuff though. So today we have my Raspberry Pi up, and as you see, I have a removable medium inserted. Now, the reason I like using a Raspberry Pi with an external drive is because it helps people realize that they should like and subscribe to the video. No, it's because of the fact that if there is an issue, you got to keep in mind, I'm just creating files to this. It's the exact same thing as if you were to write something like a paper for school and then save it to your thumb drive. The difference is that the Raspberry Pi is doing it for me. So if the Raspberry Pi breaks down or the card somehow gets overwritten or something like that, some kind of error happens, it's very unlikely that I can get back to that data. Now, if I have it on an external thumb drive, I can just take that thumb drive out and plug it into another computer and be fine. And data is tragically small. I mean, right now, here's Python apps. I think the code that has been running now for almost a day, I shouldn't say that, about 14 hours. We had a hiccup because of this code right here, and we'll talk about that at the end of this video. But so I have about 14 hours of data, and it's really neat, but it's only about 90 kilobytes. So this is still something that could be on a 3.5-inch floppy. So that being said, let's talk about mounting the drive, because it actually took me like a long time to realize what I was doing wrong. Because I first started this project in about October of 2019. But I really didn't start, I had the idea in mid-2019, and I really didn't start getting it started until maybe like November or December. And I didn't get to this point until December, where I was recording the data. And the idea was to track financial data, the stock market, as an indicator of what might have affected the world economy. So anytime there was a problem in certain areas, I would go and look for a significant world event that happened. And I could not get the data to go to a flash drive. And the idea also is that, as I said in the previous video for the cron jobs, is that you don't want to write to an SD card because they are not meant to be written to constantly. These are things that are left in a camera and then occasionally recorded to or, copied from, and that's it. It's not something that is supposed to get touched on every 2 seconds or milliseconds. I mean, think about that. It's incredible. So, and I'm not going to say that an SD card, like a thumb drive, is better. It is a little bit. Pardon me. It is a little bit. So now I can open this up in the manager. I'm not going to because I don't really care. And the thing is that this is like a 2 gig, maybe 1 gig card. Might even be only half a gig that I got somewhere, and I just found it. I plugged it in. I was going to try finding like a 128 or something, but I'm not going to do that because it's not. It's just not working. All right, here's the terminal, and we're going to start off with a sudo fdisk, and then we're going to give it what looks like an L flag. All right. So we've got all sorts of different things here. It looks like there's an 8 gig card that is sitting here. And what we're going to do is I just want to make sure I'm reading this correctly. Oh, my goodness, this is a 128 megabyte? All right. Mount dev SDB1 space and then MNT. That's what I'm getting from my instructions. And it's things. So let's see here. Following commands. Only root can do that. What? I am the root. Okay, fine. Sorry. It's actually easier to just hit the up button and get to the last performed command. All right, see. That super user so it looks like we're gonna remember to do that. cd space / mnt space MNT $, and then it's going to be a space MKB, and we have on the instructions here on tutorials point. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say little drive, because this is a very what? Try it again? No? You have to now take off the super user, dude. Too many arguments? Did I do something wrong? Yes, I did. I know it's going to sound silly, but I forgot a $. What? The joys of computers. Isn't this great? It's not like I have something else to do during this day. Oh my God. Too many arguments still. So they do have a line Here we go. So you have to do cd space /mnt, and then it's going to be /mnt. Oh, because the $sign. And then it's just going to be make directory will drive. This is just grand. Can you tell I find this a little bit annoying? All right. There we go. Yep. And we can do some stuff. Now if I can go into, want to delete the directory, I can do step 4. If I want to format it, I can do step 5. But apparently, for all that I can tell, it is currently running. Now, you have to apparently unmount the drive first. But for all purposes that I can tell, this is running. Now, if we're going to go into more, and I'm trying to find it here now, and I am quickly running out of time. There is a way, because now I have to do this every single time that I want to start restart everything. And there is another code that I want to get in here. No. We mount every single time. I am not getting it. But we can take a quick look here. And do I have to? It's supposed to be. Okay, so it is mounted, it's just not mounted as... All right, so right here, it is mounted. So we know it's mounted now, and now we can actually run programs from it and send files to it. And that's how you mount a USB drive. Okay, so now that we're done talking about mounting and why we would mount and what's the whole purpose of using a USB drive and everything else, we're going to go into exactly what I talked about earlier, and that's this nice little bit of code here for get time, time of day, date creator, these 3 functions that I copied over to the program. For some reason, it was not reading when I imported the functions page to this, so I just copied and pasted them, which is another superpower of functions in the first place. And the problem here is that I wrote the original code in a Windows environment. Now, what that does is it creates an extra space between November and between the month and day. So when I separated these by a space here, it would still leave one space left over, and we would have an array of 6. Now, as you can see down here, this is November 10th, and I know we're late in the day. It's almost 5 o'clock and everything. But as you can see here, there is not that case. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what ended up happening here is that we apparently Linux reports that exact same time in a different format, and they don't have 2 spaces between the month and day. They have 1 space between the month and day. So it completely threw off the different array of how I need to report this, and that set it up for failure. It broke the entire program. I was actually catching different days. It just wasn't working. So keep that kind of thing in mind, and see you in the next one.